Hi, this is Macy Moore reporting live from the Capitol. On January 5th, 2015, the 64th legislative session officially started and history was made. Debbie Barrett was the first woman ever elected to be Senate President. Representative Austin Knudsen was elected Speaker of the House. Since this session has just started, there has not been a whole lot of bill action yet, so I'd like to explain the process of a bill, how a bill gets started and how it becomes a law. I have Senator Moore here today to help me instruct you through the passage of a bill. Okay. Senator Moore, when someone has an idea for a new law, what is the first step?
The first step is to probably contact a legislator, probably his or her legislator from his or her district, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I've carried bills for people throughout the state of Montana. So a legislator will then submit a bill draft request to a group of staff that works on the bottom floor for legislative services, and they are mostly attorneys and bill drafters, and their job is to write the bill in legal language that will make it conform to existing code and statute, and also to get the intent of the bill drafter, the legislator, the senator or representative, to get what they want. So that's the first step.
Okay. And so a bill can technically start in either the Senate or the House, but for this
That's correct.
one, it just starts in the Senate. So
Okay.
there's the first reading, and it says a fiscal note is required for some bills. What is a fiscal note, and why is it required for some bills?
A fiscal note is an explanation of a bill that is actually done by the executive branch, by the governor's officer, budget director, who's Dan Villa right now. And that tells the rest of the legislators who are going to be voting on this bill how much fiscal impact it will have on the state. Will it require the state to spend more money? It might require the state, it might mean that the state will take in more money. But it shows what the fiscal implications are, the money implications are to the state. And not all bills have fiscal notes. Some bills don't do it, some bills don't.
Okay, cool. After the first reading, it's referred to a committee. The committee hears it, and the committee reports on it. Then it's placed on the calendar. In the second reading, the committee of the whole debates it, and the amendment bill is engrossed. What does it mean when a bill is engrossed?
It means that it's in its final form. When the bill, as you explained very well, when a bill comes out of committee, it goes to the full Senate in this example, and then it would be heard on what's called second reading. The first time it was read, when it was read across the rostrum and referred to committee, committee approves it, it comes back, and then it goes to second reading. And second reading is where the bill can still be amended. And an amendment is a change, which has to be voted on separately. So if we had a bill, let's use our example that somebody had a bill that would make it a state law that everybody had to wear purple socks on Thursday. And let's say that a senator, and it passed out of committee that way, and a senator on the floor during the second reading debate said, no, I think it should be black socks. So he would say, Mr. President, I move that Amendment 32-4 be posted and deemed as read. And that will be voted on by itself. So first we vote on the amendment. If the amendment fails, it fails, and the bill still deals with purple socks. If the amendment passes, now it deals with black socks. Then once all the amendments are done, nobody offers any more amendments, we vote on the bill as amended. If it passes second reading, it goes on to third reading. And so when it passes second reading, it means it is deemed to be engrossed, which means it's in its final form. We can't amend it anymore.
Okay, thank you. And so it says here, if the bill fails, it may receive no further consideration or may be referred back to committee. If a bill fails, how do you decide to kill it or send it back to a committee?
When a bill fails on third reading or second reading, and I guess we should back up. The thing to remember about a bill, the whole process, is a bill has got to bat 100%. Okay, there's about 7 or 8 different steps a bill has to go through to become a law. If it fails on any one of those, most times it's dead. So 7 out of 8, 6 out of 7 doesn't get you anywhere in this process. You got to bat 100%. When a bill fails on second or third reading, it's usually dead. Occasionally, it will be re-referred back to a committee by the presiding officer, and that would simply be in the rare instance where maybe on third reading the bulk of the senators liked the idea, but there was something wrong with the bill. It had the wrong date on it. It was in conflict with another piece of statute. It was maybe projected to be put into the wrong title of code in the law book. So said we can pass it, but we got to send it back to committee to fix it because we can't make amendments on third reading. But that's pretty uncommon because of the committee. All that work is supposed to be done in committee. That's why we have committees. Committees really delve down into the nuts and bolts, and they look at each word and each number, and by the time it gets to the floor, it should be ready for prime time. So most often when a bill fails on third reading, it's dead.
Okay, thank you. And in that case, if the bill passes, then the bill is sent to the House, and it goes basically through the same process again.
Correct, starts
First
all over.
reading, committee, placed on the calendar, second reading, and then third reading. And then if the bill passes here, if they're identical, the bill is passed by the Senate and the House in identical form. The bill is enrolled and sent to the governor.
Right.
If the bills are not identical, if the bill passed by the House differs from the bill passed by the Senate accepts the change, then the bill is enrolled to the governor. But if the Senate rejects the change, the bill may be sent to a conference committee composed of members of both houses. There, the conference committee attempts to iron out differences between the bills of the two houses. If the bill fails, it's dead. If the committee reaches an agreement, a report of the conference committee is sent to both houses, and then if both houses accept the compromise the bill, it is enrolled and sent to the governor. And the governor can veto a bill. What does it mean when the governor vetoes the bill?
When a governor vetoes a bill, it means that he does not sign it. All bills require, well, I should say that, most bills, there's a few exceptions, which probably more detailed than we get into now, but for the most part, a bill needs the governor's signature to become law. So a veto simply means, I don't like it, I'm vetoing it. Now, when the governor vetoes a bill, the legislature has the opportunity to override his veto, which takes a 2/3 majority. A simple majority, there's 150 seats in the legislature, so 26 votes in the Senate and 51 votes in the House will pass a bill. But if we're trying to override the governor's veto, now it takes a 2/3 majority. So 2/3 of 150 is 100. So it takes 100 votes in the legislature to override a governor's veto. Very seldom happens.
Thank you. And so then if the bill becomes a law, if the governor signs it. If the governor fails to sign the bill within a specified time, or if the veto bill is repassed in the House and Senate by 2/3 vote of the elected membership, which we just talked about.
Correct. And the other thing the governor can do is an amendatory veto, which the governor can send it back to the legislature with changes. So he can say, I like this concept, but I think pink socks would be the best socks to wear on Thursday in our sock example bill. So he would send it back to the legislature with his pink sock amendment. The legislature would either accept or reject it. If they reject his amendments, they send it back to him as is, and we say, nope, it's purple socks or nothing. And then he's back to his original. He can either sign it or veto it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's the passage of a bill, how an idea becomes a law. Thank you for watching, and I'll get back to you next Friday.